Colin Chapman famously said of his racing cars that if they didn't fall apart as soon as they crossed the finish line after winning a race, then they were over-engineered. Now, if you've ever wondered what that means for his road cars once they reached 45 years old and have been laid up for winter, then we're about to find out. Yes, that's right, the Lotus won't start. So there's quite a common mistake that people tend to make, which is thinking that if a car won't start, it's probably because fuel's not getting through and there's some problem with the fuel system. When actually, 3 times out of 4, it's probably something to do with the ignition. However, I'm going to go with the group of people in the first camp because actually I know that there's at least one issue with the fuel system, because I know there's a leak at the fuel pump end. So I am going to look at the fuel system first. Okay, so I've loosened the bolts here, so this pump is just sat there. I've taken this, this is the outlet fuel hose, that just undoes. That's a bit tight, so I'm going to, rather than wrestle with it, I'm going to undo this fitting here, and then the pump with one bound will be free, I hope. Hold on. And there is the SU fuel pump. And it seems to be this. This is where the petrol drips from. I probably need to put a new gasket on there or something. just gonna refit that fuel pump in there, bolted onto these two bolts here, do up that bobbin mount, refit the hoses and the electrical connections, and then we'll put in another battery and give it a go. There you go. I've got a handy glass bottle. I've got a set of these for this purpose, so I can stick the fuel hose in there, try and wedge it somewhere so that it doesn't spill a load of petrol everywhere. That should be all right. And then we'll give it a crank and turn it over. I can see from the video I took of the fuel pump, I can see two things. One is that it isn't leaking, which is great news. The second is that although some fuel is coming down the return line, so something's happening, nothing seems to be going down the outward line towards the engine. So I think the fuel pump needs further work, and I need to fit the rest of the rebuild kit basically. So here's my bottle. And there is nothing in there whatsoever. It's dry as a very dry day on Sunday in chapel. While I'm here with the bonnet up, let me show you one of my favourite quirky little Lotus things, and that's these screen washers. So normally you'd have a nozzle with a fine jet, and it would be adjustable on some sort of ball bearing type affair, and you'd have a bit that's stuck up on the surface of the car and a bit underneath and piping going into it. What Lotus did was they've just got, this is a bit of brake pipe, it's a copper tube, and it's just bent, it comes up through this wire mesh grill, and it's just bent into place and then crimped at the end, so you've got two tiny little nozzles there, and that's it. And you just adjust it by bending it because it's copper tube, and it's got kinks in it, so you just bend it. Does the job perfectly. Incredibly simple, incredibly cheap, and of course added lightness. So where have we got to? Well, we fixed the leak on the fuel pump, but there's a bit more work to do to get it working properly. The battery's in the process of being reconditioned, and so hopefully that will go well, and I've just got to do a bit more work to do on finishing off that fuel pump rebuild, and then get that refitted, and hopefully we should be able to get the car up and about and driving around a bit next time. Very much looking forward to that. Hope you are too. Thanks very much for watching. If you don't want to miss it, make sure and click subscribe down below if you haven't already. Thanks again, and look forward to doing it all again soon.